Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. This podcast has been created with you in mind to acquaint you with some of the most incredible metaphysicians and spiritual leaders from around the globe who have helped others change their lives. In this interactive hour, you will be offered insights and techniques to help you make a difference in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening platform. And here we go, on to the show. Hello. Welcome, everyone. I am Marla Goldberg. I am your host today on Guided Spirit Conversations. And if you don't know who I am, I'm a doctor of metaphysical healing, intuitive, best-selling author, speaker, teacher, and, well, if I didn't say it, I'm sorry, I'm sleep deprived. So I have a new puppy, and she is not letting me sleep very much. So if I seem a little off, I apologize big time. But today we have a great show for you. I have Brian D. Ridgway, who is known as the Spellbreaker. And I have to tell you, Brian, when I heard, all of a sudden I said that, and I can't remember the female artist, might be Pat Benatar with the songs that Spellbreaker, Dream Maker. Anyway, that's popping into my head for whatever the reason. Anyway, Brian is a #1 best-selling author, speaker, and mentor to mentors. Brian helps people go beyond solving problems to dissolving the illusion of problems. I really like that. His unique approach to transformation, spell breaking, helps people to dissolve any and all life changes from their body, mind, emotions, and their world, creating fast, effortless, and lasting liberation. Welcome, Brian. How are you?
Aloha. Good morning. I'm great. I'm
Aloha.
really excited. I'm excited to be on with you, Marla. We're gonna have a great time for sure.
I think we are too. And I think that was Pat Benatar. That's what I'm hearing. So
Yeah.
we sing that song. And all of a sudden, and I didn't even put two and two together, and all of a sudden I'm introducing you, and it's like this is popping in my head going, oh my God. It was so strange. So you're a man of few words because I went on your website to look at the About Brian. It did give me a little more insight into you, where you talk about you had a challenging childhood, which led to, in your words, as a disastrous life to a point, and you became a self-help junkie with books and programs and everything like that. But let's start at the beginning. Let's talk about, I mean, I don't want to like get into making you feel bad, but many people, I talk about it myself, many people have dysfunctional upbringings. I was one of them. And I talk about it openly because I don't want people to ever feel that they're alone and that what they're going through, nobody else is going through. They're all going through their own version of it.
Yep.
So if you don't mind sharing a little bit, you don't have to get into the gritty details, but just a little bit about, the dysfunction that led to the decisions, the choices you made later on in life that didn't serve you before you stepped on your path of healing and helping.
Yeah. Well, and just to say, like, none of this bothers me at all. Like, I can go into the deepest stories of my childhood. I have been through those channels. I've brought the emotion up. It's gone. So there's no upset there at all. I am grateful for every second of it. My dad, just to really simplify, my dad was full of anger, which is sadness and fear, trying to be tough. Very, very angry person he played. My mom, love her, absolutely love both of my parents so much. Again, I'm grateful for everything they did. My mom had very, very, very low self-esteem, you could say. Her parents were very critical of her. This stuff came down through the generations, as it does, until it doesn't. And so, unhappy woman, angry man. She had 2 children from previous marriage who were not happy. And I was the target of my dad's anger since the other 2 kids weren't his. And so as far as I know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, there was emotional abuse every day, 24/7, for the first 17 years of my life. And I don't know if there was a day when I didn't get physically beaten. I really don't know. I came away with the self-concept. My whole self-image was, as I sum it up, stupid, ugly, worthless piece of shit. That's who I was. That's what I was. Oh, and by the way, I was never going to get it right, and life was going to kick my ass forever. So I left home at 17, and that's the life I created, perfectly living my self-image.
Wow. And so, but let's talk about the next phase of it. And, because very much like you, not to that degree, but I had my dysfunctions, but my dysfunctions had me making choices that didn't serve me that I made over and over and over again. And in your bio on your website, it says you had a disastrous life. So,
Yeah.
how did your childhood lead into your quote unquote disastrous life?
Yeah, well, okay, the answer to that leads to really the core of the work that I do, which is whatever you decide you are. So from where I stand, you are infinite, unlimited, eternal being of infinite love and joy and peace forever, expanding. That's what you actually are.
Okay.
Then you find out as a child what you are, what your parents program you to be, what society, which doesn't actually exist, but people, individuals, preachers, teachers, authorities, and your parents, they teach you what you are. You agree with them, and that is what you get evidence of for the rest of your life until you change those things. So for me, learning that I was stupid, ugly, worthless piece of shit who was going to suffer forever and life was just going to kick my ass forever, I perfectly mirrored that. A lot of people believe in attraction, and I no longer do. I see it all as reflection. Whatever one believes about themselves, they will reflect endlessly perfectly on what appears to be a universe outside of them. And I did. My relationships, my supposed relationship with money, every aspect of my life was a nightmare, perfectly reflecting back to me what I believed about myself. My relationships all went downhill quickly, friendships, all type of relationships. My work, I knew that I was smart and that I was a failure. So I would succeed up to a point, and then it would turn into a disaster over and over and over. I can certainly give more detail, but that's the summary.
You know what? I resonate with what you're saying, and I understand exactly what you're saying because, again, my own version. That's why I think this is so great because you come from self-help and I come from, the metaphysical, but you have metaphysical as well. But bringing it together and the point is I like to say we're all trying to get our people to the sweet spot. The sweet spot is
Mhm.
that healed spot, living the life we're divinely meant to live, and how do you heal through these things and get on that path. So then at a certain point you then started go doing self-help. You jumped on the self-help train. And so you're talking your website about how you went to these programs and you walked away not feeling like you had any help whatsoever. We don't have to mention names or programs. But I mean, it happens to many of us. And is it the program or is it what we're willing to take in or
To me,
change?
it's absolutely both. And I'll say, at 12, I remember at 12 years of age when someone told me, "Oh, this Jesus thing, this Christianity, man, you follow this and do this, and your life will be wonderful. You'll be full of love." So I did it. And then around 16, I had tried multiple churches, and I was, this is what they're saying in this church isn't even what's in the book that they're reading. Like, this is interesting. I went from church, and see, I was in such a deep hell myself that my whole spiritual journey, metaphysical, self-help, all of it was not an interest. It wasn't a luxury. It was, I'm going to freaking die here. I'm going to die if I don't solve this. So at 17, a copy of Your Erroneous Zones by Wayne Dyer landed in my hand. I read that. Oh, this could work. And from there, I was off to the races. And I would say I put 30% of my money and 30 to 40% of my time into my healing journey for the next 30 plus years. And as for, is it my readiness or was it the information? It's absolutely both. I'm in daily conversations with people who are involved in self-help and metaphysical examination and living. And what I see, okay, so someone once said that of all the things humans created to prevent themselves from discovering that they're God, religion is the most powerful thing they've ever created. There's something worth reflecting on there. And I say, when you, infinite, unlimited being, created the universe and the earth, you didn't want to be able to have your waking up be easy, or you would have just snapped your fingers and been back in boring eternity again. So you created the self-help industry to be the biggest batch of bullshit imaginable, so full of confusion and misdirection. And I don't criticize any teacher or any guru doing any of it. Everybody's playing their role absolutely perfectly as we created this to be. Really, it's I and you. There's no we here from what I see. And so, God, I went through program after program. I went to seminars. Sometimes, if there was a seminar, like I'll name one. I don't think they're doing it anymore anyway. And if they are, I love them. Great. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I think it's a new company that's handling that. I went through that seminar 3 times, and I was more excited every time. Oh, this is the time it's going to work. And I got home and literally nothing had changed. I did every single thing. I followed every step of every program that I went through. I didn't dabble. And so I ended up more and more frustrated, actually more and more hopeless that, wow, I can't even get self-help right. And every day I see people who feel that way.
I think so. I have a Ronald Eric Aguilar. Do you know Ronald?
Yeah. Hey, Ronald. Aloha.
That's what he says. Man, I've been thinking of you. I don't know if you have your chat on, so he
Oh,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm seeing. Hey,
okay.
everybody. Welcome.
Excellent. Let's talk about, you say that self-improvement is a trap. Tell me about why you think it's a trap.
Yeah, okay, and this weaves into what I was saying a few moments ago, which is kind of like the superficial introduction to it. It's okay, so I'm gonna bring it down to me, and I'm just gonna say I hear a lot of people speaking, just to get this one out of the way. I hear a lot of people talking about the collective, and I say, I really better get my crap together before I go trying to make it a we. And we can get deeper in that if you want to. So I'm going to make it a we, or rather an I. Each of us, I am the one who is not only created my life and my universe, I am creating it right now. I did not create, hey, Kenneth, welcome. I did not create the universe as my temporary vacation in hell. I am infinite love and joy and peace expanding forever. It's
Yes.
all perfect. I am bliss. I create separation to dive into it and have all of these experiences. I didn't, if I had made it to where I had access to my infinite power, I would snap my fingers and I would make it all disappear and I'd be back in eternity. So I create the self help industry to be the biggest trap available so that I can be so frustrated climbing my way out of it with all these conflicting theories and all these people with half-assed solutions to frustrate myself, to make it so difficult that when I finally break free, it's the most incredible experience possible, stepping into liberation. And hey, aloha, all my friends there. Great to see you all. So yeah, and we can go deeper into that, but there's my overview of it. Yeah.
And I feel media and the way books and people are presented as the end all, opposed to they're sharing their perspective on something, or they go, oh, this is a great idea. Let's just build on this, even though they may not even really subscribe to it,
That's
to what
right.
they're
That's right.
selling.
So much of that, and I tell you, Marla, if I'll take a liberty here to just to say this, and again, I don't put down anyone, and I don't put down any systems whatsoever. I'm just saying what I see. Okay, there today. Here's a hardcore fact for anyone who wants to look at it. You can find out that there's this thing called a law of attraction, which may or may not
Mhm.
exist. From my perspective, there is no such thing. However, it's probably a step up from the life that we were living where we don't seem to have any power or any influence. Okay. So all these people believe in the law of attraction. Well, after the movie The Secret came out, one of the teachers from The Secret sells a course where for $47 you can become a certified law of attraction coach. How many people are hiring one of those $47 coaches whose training consists of how to get clients? So I watched The Secret. I was able to get a parking lot one time. I said, "Oh, I'm going to get a parking space," and I got a parking space, and now I'm a coach. And that's so that's the self-help industry to a great extent.
You know what? And I believe, I don't know if I would call it the law of, but I believe in manifesting. I believe that you're able to, because where your thoughts go, energy flows. Where your vibration is, more of that vibration is going to come to you. So if you're down here, guess what's going to come to you? If you're up here, guess what's going to come to you? So yes, I'm agreeing with you about the law part. It's all words and wordsmithing and how they present it. And the secret was a great way to open people's minds that there is
Yep.
something more. But
Yep.
it was not even, in my opinion, just the opinion of me, but it wasn't even deep enough to really help people make the changes that are necessary, because it's more than just trying to change your mindset. There's it's a path, and you need to walk your path and work, and there is self-help to working through your stuff. You have to help yourself. But and that's what I've been saying on my promos. I don't know if you've been listening to them or not, but it's the exchange of it. So yes, I have to agree that there's a great manipulation of that the media does, and that some authors do. And quite frankly, like many celebrities you might meet, like from Hollywood, and you think, oh my God, they're so amazing. If you knew who they were, you might not be so like gaga over them,
Oh yeah.
because they're human beings with their own foibles.
Yep. Yeah.
So I have to agree with that. So now you're a spell breaker. Let's talk about how you break those spells.
Mm. Well, and this is maybe the weirdest part of the whole thing for me. I have been doing this since I was 3 years old. The work that I do, like from basically from when I could talk. I listen to people and I hear what they believe. And by hearing what they believe and think, I'm able to see what they know. And I'm able to see what they're feeling that they're not letting themselves feel. And if someone comes to me with a desire to be more free, like I don't stick my nose where it's not invited at all. I did for about 46 years. I basically helped everyone that I met without waiting to find out if they wanted any help. So that was what I'm here on the planet to do. And God, at a late point in life for me at 46, I discovered, oh wait, if I wait till someone asks me for help, that's a whole different thing. And so I've been doing it as a quote business. I mean, I'm just doing what I am. I've been doing it for 12 years. And the way that I do it is I hear what people say and I help them to not know what they think they know.
You help them to not know what they think they know. So you're talking about reversing what they think they know
Pretty
because
much.
they,
So we all picked up. I mean, I have a world famous, soon to be world famous question that I love to ask people. Where'd you get that shit? And if someone will look at anything that they're absolutely positive beyond the shadow of a doubt and ask themselves, where did I get that shit? It's a very spiritual question. It's got poop in it. Where did I get that question? If they'll really honestly look, they're going to find out that it was 99.99999999999% of everything they know was programmed into them. And
yeah,
so Daryl just said dismantling their limiting beliefs. I say yes to that. However, I'm doing something infinitely more than just dismantling their infinite beliefs, because so there's a whole hierarchy here that we get into at any time. So there's beliefs, ideas, which lead to paradigms, rules, values, identities. There's all this hierarchy, and not to mention the emotions that are woven into it. And so, yeah, it's like I'm helping people to unmake it in their mental body, their emotional body, and their physical body at the same time, which makes the problem disappear from what I call their universal body. I don't believe there's them and the universe. The universe is my body, so I have a very different model of the universe. Yeah.
so do you have a process without, you don't have to give away all your secrets here, but is there, yeah, I don't think that would be a fair thing to ask, but is there a process that steps that you can talk about that you work with without giving away the bathwater or the baby with
Yeah,
the
and
bathwater?
absolutely. And I will say that I'm totally fine giving the more I give away. Okay, so here's really the truth for me, and I'll answer the question. I don't believe that I am in a universe anymore, and I don't believe there are any other people here. I am the true I am is the source of this me that people call Brian. The true I am is the source of the universe, and everything that I encounter in this universe is parts of me. So I'm here to benefit people as much as I can. I'll give it all away, and I find the more I give, the more people come around and hire me anyway. So I got no hesitation there. I have probably about 132,000 processes that I do with people, wild guess. But the bottom line of the simplest thing I do is this: someone comes to me and says they have an issue or problem. I say, would you be interested in a different perspective on that? If they say yes, I ask them a couple of questions to, first of all, get down to the root of what they believe. And then, if they're willing, I ask them a few questions or might have them repeat a few words to help them simply not know it anymore. And so if I'm the source of the universe, and remember, anyone hearing me, this is not some narcissistic, maniacal I'm talking about you, every one of us, I am the source of my universe. Therefore, I am the source of all of the power in the universe. Therefore, nothing in this universe has any power that isn't mine, that I didn't give it. And so, by not knowing these things, I retrieve the power that I had placed in that seems to be kicking my ass and coming at me from all sides. And yeah,
So it's
it's really
almost
about
like,
questions.
okay, I like that. I like that because it's almost like what I'm hearing is you're pulling back the pieces of you that you may have given away, whether it be this life or past life, to, you know, bring a different perspective, which could definitely bring an immediate healing when people go, oh my God, I never thought about it this way. And oh, that isn't true. Or maybe you're there saying, oh, that really resonates well with me, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, in fact,
Okay.
Marla, check just to bring this into the equation. I literally don't believe in past lives anymore. I find it hilarious, and I joke about it, but I'm never poking fun at people. It's all me. I mean, I'd be harming myself. But if we say out of the left side of our mouth, all is one. There's no past and no future. And then out of the right side of our mouth, we say, now let's get to work on your past lives. If I ain't got no past and future, I ain't got no past lives. From my view, all lives are now, and I'm living all of them. If there's only one infinite, unlimited, eternal being, then see, we talk about oneness. If there's only one infinite, unlimited, eternal being, then who are all those other lives? They're the same being. So all lives, yours, mine, the cat, the dog, the tree, the rock, they taught us inanimate and inanimate. That's bullshit. So all is the one life. I am all of it. And so when I am sitting here healing my liver now, a tribe that I'm in the jungle on another planet that's been in a drought for 5 years, it starts to rain. When I see all one. So all healing is here now, all lives all here now, no past, no future.
It's an interesting perspective. I think I have a different perspective on it, but, and I'm not saying yours isn't so, but
Yeah.
it's just, I'm just hearing different things, but that's good. Now, because it gives me a lot to think about. I get to chew on all this when, our time is over. It's like, oh, what did he mean by? And then I get to really, digest it and flip it around and, see how it pulls out for me.
Yeah.
But you've got two things going on that I want to talk about. You have your book, which you have named your new beginning book. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that and where people can find it, why you wrote it. I know it's to help. I know it's to bring a new perspective to everybody, but let's talk about your writing process and what was the catalyst that drove you to write this book.
So this thing, like I say, I'm here on the planet to do what I'm doing. I don't even view what I'm doing as work. I'm just being, and I'm here to help. I'm here to help people that want it.
Yes, service.
And yes and no. Yes and no. I know how weird I am, Marla, and it's not that I'm
You're not
argumentative.
weird.
It's just I don't really know anything anymore. So I sit here in this place of curiosity, observing everything. I'm here to help, and it's the most selfish thing I can possibly do is to help everybody else because they're me. So so it's service and it isn't, there's so many things that people say to me. I'm like, well, not exactly, but kind of, I can see what you mean. I can't not do what I am. And so, like writing books, doing session after session with people, if I were to even quit my work today, if I were to stop and walk away from my company and throw it away, I would go sit somewhere on the grass and someone would walk up to me and say, I don't know why, but I feel like I can tell you my problems, and I'd be helping them in 30 seconds. Like I couldn't not.
And here's the thing, in my vernacular, that's being of service. You're helping people, you're supporting people. And when you're doing that, whether you're getting paid, whether there's financial compensation or energetic compensation, you're being compensated because you are helping. You're extending yourself to others. Your
Mm.
knowledge, your
Well,
support, whatever it might be.
yes, and for me, there are no others. So it ends up being the same thing that you're saying. Absolutely, it's still the same thing.
Well, I'm another, right? If I come to you and I say, Brian, I think you can hear me, so I want to talk to you, and you give me some pearls of wisdom, some gems that I can, like take with me and go think about and help implant in myself so I might shift my humanness, because I believe we're all spiritual beings having this human experience. You've heard that it's not a cliche, it's what we're having, because
Yeah.
at some point this body goes away, but our light stays forever. And that you come to me, but you give me this. You have just given me, you've been of service to me because you've offered me something I didn't have prior, or that I have
Mm.
to have uncovered, that I
Right.
didn't know was buried. Might be a
Yep.
better way of saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with that. While at the same time, I know. So, and this is something, it might be almost impossible for me to convey without the conversation. And we have a limited time for the conversation. I'm sensitive to that too. From my perspective, let me not make it me. I'm going to make it to whoever's hearing my voice, including you, Marla. Here's how I see it. You are the source of your universe. In your universe, there are no others. You perceive others, all of them, including me, mirroring back to you. I am literally a reflection of you reflecting something to you. So, from that view, I can't do anything for any others because there aren't any others. I'm simply loving what's in front of me, which is all ultimately the self. So I'm being 100% selfless and 100% selfish at the exact same time is one way of saying it.
That's
Yeah.
duality. That's duality, right?
Yep.
You
Yep.
live in a duality kind of existence. We all do. I do,
Yep.
you do, your beautiful people do, my beautiful people do. We all
Yeah.
live in duality. So yes, we're both living in those times. But I want to go back to your
Yeah.
book
Yeah.
and your catalyst for writing it at the time you wrote it. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. You didn't write
Yeah.
it 12 years ago. You wrote it when you wrote it.
Yep. Yeah. And I wrote it to assist anyone who wants to be free so that they can question what they know and return to their new beginning, which is always now. This
Yep.
ability, and I have here's the philosophy behind the book in one nutshell. No matter how many wrong turns you think you've made, you are sitting at the corner right now of infinite impossibilities. It's always the new beginning right now. It doesn't matter where you are, how long you've been there, how long you've been stuck, what you think you've done wrong, how much punishment you believe you deserve. That's all what you believe. So you are sitting in infinite possibilities right now. And by questioning those things fully, to the extent that you're willing to question what you know, you're in your new beginning right now. So that's the whole purpose of the book, for people to be able to start over right now and lay everything down that they're willing to lay down.
I like that. And your book can be found?
It is at yournewbeginningbook.com, yournewbeginningbook.com.
Okay, and that's going to be in our blog. so that you can find the link to it whenever you're looking for this. You also have a course that's launching today,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's called Inner Circle Spell Breaking. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that and what it's about.
I'm really excited about this. So here's what I call my processes. What I call it is spell breaking, and it's the basic idea is that if you look beyond most of what we get from Disney and others about spells, here's what a spell is. You are what you are. Everything else that you think and believe that you know is a spell. It's something you pick. That smart ass question I started the thing with. Where'd I get that shit? Where'd I get that shit? So when when you doubt what you know, you break the spell that you were under. And when you break the spell, all the power that you put in it returns to you. So when you break a spell, you are releasing the energy that you had put into whatever that was and return that energy to yourself. I have done probably in the last 12 years, I've probably done 30 programs and courses, not to mention I have several memberships for different levels. I do a lot of one-on-one work. I have people come out and work with me here in Hawaii, and my multi-week courses I've done over and over and over. And if I do one for entrepreneurs, people join it and say I could not join it because of the benefits. If I recently did a program on it wasn't weight loss, but it's about how to perfect your health, and people dropping weight like crazy without focusing on dropping weight. And I have people that say, I don't have any weight to lose. I'm joining the program because I know the benefits. So we're finally doing a program that it's not a topic. It's just breaking people's spells. And so we actually are launching it today. Interestingly, as we're doing this interview, we're launching it today. It didn't even cross my mind to share it until you brought it up. I'm thrilled to share it for anybody who wants to join us. Every week we meet for an hour and a half on a Zoom call, me and all the members who join us. And people come on, they go in straight into the chat, they say what they want help with, and I pull people on one after another and just break their spells live without a net. And going to be no topics, no themes are off limits. Whatever somebody wants help with, it's just spell break after spell break after spell break. It's going to be an ongoing program rather than normally I do 8 or 12 weeks. This one's going on so people can join, be in for a month or stay in forever, whatever they want to do. And it's really a trip. I'll take a liberty again of one thing if I may, because it ties into everything else
Absolutely.
we're talking about.
Please.
One of the trippiest things I've ever found, Marla, is that if I do a spell break with someone and there are people observing, this can be standing around somewhere. I've done it at live events with hundreds of people. It can be online. Everyone watching who follows along gets a spell break on the same topic as the person I'm working with. And even the people that come back and watch the replay, I have people telling me about miraculous physical healings, relationship issues, financial issues, anything you could imagine. I'll be working with someone, and every person that comes back and watches that replay for years, I'm still getting messages. Hey, I watched that spell break you did with so and so, and I had this miraculous thing happen. So that's the core of this program.
Well, and what's amazing is it's a universal fact. I mean, if somebody asks a question and there's a room of 100 people, everybody in that audience has the same question. They have the same issue. Maybe it might not be their forefront issue, the thing that makes them worry or get upset, but they all have the issue.
Yep.
So they're meant for it. So the people that are following you, they're all dealing with the same things. And when they join
Yep.
your groups, it's meant for a real reason. Or if they listen to it later on, there's a reason for it because they're brought into it because your vibration and what you're doing is attracting them so that they can have the same benefit.
Uh, the outcome for everybody from their unique angle. Yep.
Yeah. And that's universal and I love it. And being the phrase we are one, we are many, we are one is because we're all interconnected no matter who we are. We don't treat each other as such, but we are all interconnected, yet we're all individual spiritual beings.
Yep.
So that is really, I like that a lot. And so I'm trying to see if it's, nope, we've got a few more minutes. I can ask a few more questions. So, why do you say that experience is the most important thing in life?
Yeah, this came to me after hundreds of sessions working with people. I am eternal being and I dwell in eternity. And that's all there
Hmm.
is. And in the eternal existence, there's no space, so there's no movement. There's no time, so there's no change. There's only the infinite potential for change. So, infinite, unlimited being, as I put it into crazy words, chooses to project out of eternity into this illusion of time and space, first creating time and space in order to have experience. So, we're here to have experience in the
Yes.
story. We're here to have experience. Now, people can twist anything they want of purpose and mission and all the, I mean, I spell break purpose and mission as much as I spell break anything else. We're here to have experience. And so there's experiences we want, there's experiences that we don't want, and we're here having it. And I made this discovery again several years ago. One of the most powerful questions a human being could ever ask, maybe the most powerful question, is what would I most like to experience now? And we've been conditioned and programmed that that's selfish, that's wrong, that's bad, it's blah 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 blah. But where did I get that shit? So
Right.
we're yeah, if we're here to have experience, then to focus on experience and let that be, that's my only yardstick. I don't have any right or wrong anymore. I don't have any good or bad. It's all about preferred experience.
So this might seem a little provocative. You say there's no right or wrong, good or bad, but do you find that when somebody shoots up a bar, that's, I mean, I know it's a judgment, a human judgment, but would you consider that a positive or, I mean,
I don't believe in
or
positive or
negative?
negative.
Yeah,
I
everything
don't
just is.
that yeah, it is. It's perfect. Everyone here is the infinite eternal one. They can't be harmed, they can't be damaged. So on this side of the veil, so to speak, where we're here having experience, everyone is getting the exact perfect experience that their soul chose. So none is
Okay.
good, none is bad, none is right or wrong. None. I to be real frank about it, I find the whole positive and negative thing is almost like the ultimate lie in human experience. We when we're religious, and I don't know how many minutes I have. I'll be real quick with this. But so when
No,
we're
Tom,
religious,
we've got time. So
okay, good.
just go with the
Then
flow.
I'll take
And I'll just interject the charity shout out when it's time, and we'll just continue.
perfect. Okay, so here's what I see: this positive and negative thing. Everyone here is the infinite, unlimited, eternal being. There's no good, there's bad, no right or wrong, no positive or negative. And then we kind of, most of us born into some form of religion, even if it's atheism, it's its own religion. And we begin to discover, okay, there's this law of attraction. Someone's saying that I have some power here. So we step into what I call being spiritual. And when you being spiritual, you kind of have this idea. You hear about oneness, you hear about all this and that, and you say, wait, well, maybe there's no good or bad. It just is. That's all judgment. It just is. But just about everyone that I know, almost everyone that I know in the spiritual realm, is still believing in positive and negative, not recognizing that that's just a continuation of good and bad. If someone got raped 42 times by their dad, boy or girl or whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. So they get raped multiple times by their parent. Almost anyone in the world would say that's a negative experience. But if you ask them later in life, and they say, I wouldn't be who I am without it, then it's positive, right? No, it isn't positive or negative. It's what it is. And our endless judgments, throwing positive and negative on everything to make sure we're checking in with everybody else about what's positive and negative, is like the final trap that I see that so many spiritual people are still wrestling with. And I have no belief whatsoever in positive or negative any more than I do in good or bad or right or wrong.
Interesting, interesting. I like to use the term perceived negativity because it's perception, but you're right. Positivity, good, bad, it's all perception. And what I might consider, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing, you might say, well, it's really nice for you, but I don't look at it this way. And like you said, somebody being raped 42 times, you could. it's a perception of is it a negative thing? Because as you've said, at the other side, you might say, I wouldn't be who I am without it.
Yeah,
But there is wounds, but don't you agree that wounds happen if somebody's abused? The wounds and scars are are created. I mean, and what you're doing in your process is helping people to heal their the residual effect of the experience.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay. Because then you have to realize that if you're healing a residual effect, there was an effect that happened based on the experience.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I just don't see that it was good or bad. Like I'm not taking brokenness and fixing it. I'm not taking wrongs and making them right. I'm saying, what would you prefer? What would you prefer to experience, and help them do that.
I like that. Okay, charity shout out time. So let's talk about your charity, which is called compassion.com.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that agency and why you support it and what they do and how people can help.
Yeah, it's I am neither a Christian nor a Buddhist nor anything else, and this is a very Christian leaning charity. I Here's how I see it. They are actually focused on helping children in severe poverty. And I'm all for it. And that's really, I mean, I'd be happy to say more. That's how simple it is. They are actually making sure that that money and that help gets to benefit children that are looking for help and benefit. So
Is this a local charity or is this a national or international?
it's worldwide. Yeah.
Okay, which
Yeah.
is beautiful. And you said that this is one of the few charities that, or not for profits, that really use the majority of money to help those that they are designated to help in their, I forgot what you write up when you're a 501c3, whatever it is, but your designation,
Yeah.
this is where the money is going to go, and the money actually goes there. That's what you were sharing with me.
Yeah. That's the bottom line for me, that the help actually gets to the person, because there's plenty of charities that are charity for the charity.
I get it. I get it. I understand. And yeah, because it's very important to check out where you're putting your funds and who they're really helping.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to land children. I mean, children and animals. I mean, it just breaks my heart when the people abuse animals. And that's another story, which I'm not going to get into right now because we're on a really higher vibe. So I like that. What Zach is saying, going back years, I would turn around a perceived negative experience to a result of a decision I made as realizing that I wouldn't be who I am without this experience. Yes, that's it, Zach. Yeah, I think you've got it. As they say in My Fair Lady, by George, I think you've got it. So
There it is.
I really like that. Um, so you say positive thing is BS, and we're talking about that, and you say that you feel that it's controversial. Why do you hold that position, and how do you address other people that hold that position?
That's a great question. This is something that it's a fun thing for me. I have a philosophy, and it is this. No matter who it is, my daughter, my mom, my friend, I love you so much. I don't give a damn what you think. And I spent the majority of my life so caught up in what other people were going to think of me, what they might think of
Mhm.
me. Oh my God. I mean, I don't knock egos like a lot of people do. It's a necessary part of living in time and space. But my self-esteem was so low. I was doing anything in the world to be liked.
You're a
And
pleaser.
so, yeah, well, yeah, you could say I was living that life as a pleaser, and of course, not ever able to please anyone. And if I did, it was short lived, because that's what that does. And so, this idea of occasionally I'll have someone say, Brian, it sounds to me like you're putting down other approaches. No, 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 no. I use those approaches. I put money into those approaches, and I'm never knocking another human being. If they're a teacher of a philosophy, if they're teaching law of attraction, if they're teaching, all kudos and infinite respect to the infinite unlimited beings playing their game. That doesn't mean they're telling the truth, and that doesn't mean that their approach works. So I evaluate these approaches on whether there's results or not. And positive thinking is a nightmare trap, period. Anyone is welcome to use it, and eventually we'll probably have a conversation when they're done with it. Because when you're doing positive thinking, you're you just put yourself in the trap of positive and negative duality. You're always having to evaluate: is this positive? Is this positive? Is this negative? What I'm dealing with here, when you don't know and you can't know. So why? It's kind of like if you wanted to eat and you were really starving and you were debating the plastic coating on the menu.
Hmm.
Why waste time? The food's in front of you. Why be trying to figure out whether something's positive or negative when you could actually be present to the fact that it's neither positive or negative and get on with the experience you want to have? We don't know what's positive. We don't know what's negative. And what's positive to one person is negative to another. And really, ultimately, there's just no such thing as positive and negative. So the whole focus on that as an approach keeps people running from. You can't run to the positive without running from the negative, because that's a duality.
Yep.
And the day that someone lays down, I will never think in terms of positive and negative again. I'm going to see what's in front of me, see what I feel, and see what I prefer to experience next. They're free.
Oh, interesting. Kimberly, we've heard from Jerry. He said, "Man, I do so much to be liked to the point where I didn't know who I was." That's so
Yep.
many, many people. And then Kimberly is saying, "Thank you. Positive thinking being a trap. So what, what I can trapped in, just be present in the experience."
Just be present in the experience, period.
Well, that's all about mindfulness because if you're thinking about the future or you're ruminating on the past, you're definitely not here and now.
Yep. And if
You're not taking in whatever's going in around you.
Yeah, and if you're debating on positive and negative, you're attributing that as a okay. There's a concept that I really like of overlays, and I'm sure they still make them. I haven't seen one for years, but the books, like you could picture an anatomy book, and let's
Yes,
just say that the bottom page is a paper page with a picture of a human body, and then these plastic overlays, and each overlay has different things on it, right? Well,
right.
positive and negative is a needless overlay in our minds that has no reality, and we're constantly trying to filter, making sure that we're positive and not negative. I mean, the God, people, how many videos you go on YouTube and do a search for negative people? Now, the minute you make a people negative, you have lost all of your power. And the minute you make something positive, you've given all your power away. When you and it's a deeper conversation. Maybe we'll do another interview someday or have another
I have a
conversation. But
feeling we will.
it happens a lot with me. I have multiple people that say, "Okay, we got to have another conversation and unpack some of those things we talked about." We'll see.
Well, we do. Well, we do. I think that there's so much in what you're sharing, and because what you're sharing, there's a vibratory piece to it, and it's sort of like, okay, how do we unpack this? Because there's so many people who have been taught many, many things about where your thoughts go. Well, if your thoughts are thinking about harming yourself or harming another, or my life isn't working, or I'm not worth it, or I don't have any worth or value, I mean, that's something we need to unpack in the sense that because people do have those legitimate feelings and thoughts based on their experiences and what's been brought to them or what they've been taught. And we talked about this at the beginning of the show, how we're programmed by our authority figures,
Yeah.
relatives, teachers, religious figures, and they throw their projections onto us. And now we're carrying around trunks and trunks and trunks of other people's crap.
Yep.
And it's not necessarily feel good stuff.
For
And that's
sure. Yeah.
so that's this is yeah. So there's a lot of this that needs to be sort of brought out because your way of thinking of it is very refreshing and different than mainstream self-help or spiritual people.
Oh yeah.
It truly is. And so that's where the unpacking comes from. So, Brian, we've got 5 minutes. What have I not brought up that you feel is pertinent to the listeners to know for them to, that I haven't asked you about? I know there's a lot there. So, this is your
Hmm.
platform for 5 minutes. I'm letting you go crazy
Oh boy, here we go.
in a
All
positive
right.
way, even though there's no positivity or negativity.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's what it is. So this thing about attraction and the fact that I actually say that there is no attraction, that there's no, not only is there no law of attraction, there is no attraction. And here I consider this, other than doing the quote work, of asking the questions, going
Yeah.
beyond that, what I see as the theme here's what it is. Virtually everyone on the planet that is in any way spiritual believes there is attraction to some extent. I believed it my entire life, really. And then when I found out about the supposed law of attraction, I was in it. Here's why I say there is no attraction. There's no such thing as attraction. If all is one, then what is there to attract anything else? It's either oneness or there isn't. And some people, well, Brian, you're kind of like doing spiritual bypassing. No, I'm not. Not at all. I'm saying that I'm in duality. I'm playing in it for sure. However, I'm not duality. And the real me isn't in duality. I am one. If I'm one, there's no possibility that I could attract anything because there isn't anything that isn't me. That's all illusion. So if there's no attraction, then what is there? I mean, in my view, there cannot be attraction. It can't be all is one and there's attraction. So I got to choose. And most people aren't choosing. Most spiritual people are living in a duality of dualities, saying all is one and then believing in attraction. But if all is one, there can't be attraction. So what is there? Sure, it looks like I'm attracting these things into my life. People constantly say, why did I attract this again? How did I attract that again? How can I attract more of this or that? No, you're reflecting on the infinite D movie screen that you call a universe that you think is separate from you. And you were programmed to believe the universe is separate from you. Me and the world. Usually it's me against the world, actually. It's me and the universe. No, the universe is one, and I am a cell in that body, and all is one. I can't attract anything. I can only reflect. And so when I believe I'm attracting, I'm going to be trying to figure it out, trying to get it right. When I admit that all that I ever see, the good and the bad, the positive and the negative, all of it is reflecting what I'm holding in myself, then I can look at it, and instead of wondering how do I attract it or try to not attract it or try to attract more of it, I can say, what am I holding and believing or avoiding that's reflecting as this? And then I'm in the most powerful place to be able to change anything and everything. So there it is.
Wow. That is, well, it blows a lot of theories right out of the water. That's for sure.
Most of them.
Yeah,
It blows most
it
of them.
truly does. And so, okay, so but the human side of you, things happen, right? You're driving, somebody cuts you off, narrowly spinning you out of control because they narrowly could have nicked your car. Do
Yeah.
you react?
I still have the capacity to react. I choose to be present, and I used to live 99.9% of my minutes in reaction. Now I probably live 1 minute, 2 minutes a day in reaction. It's almost completely gone.
Which is
I asked the
amazing.
question. I asked the question. How is this for me? How is this reflecting? What's in me that's reflecting as someone doing that? I take so you know what? In my last minute, I'll say this. Here's what I believe is true, and here's how I see to live total freedom. 100% total personal responsibility equals 100% total personal freedom. 100% total personal responsibility. This is me reflecting to me, and there is no one harming me, attacking me, doing anything to me. How is this what's happening? me happening for me. That question will set you free from anything and everything.
I absolutely love that last bit, that last minute of information, because it is so incredibly powerful, Brian. Thank you for sharing it.
Thanks for
Well,
opening the door for it.
my pleasure. That's what I'm here for. So that you can like share all your goodness and let everybody, take it in and decide what what fits for them. It's like a shoe or a glove, whatever analogy you want to say it,
Yeah.
because people are going to fight it or people are going to flow with it.
Yeah.
That's a choice.
Yeah.
And I want to get into that the next time you come on the show. So thank you, Brian, for
Let's do it.
sharing this very unique perspective. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you to all your fans, your mentees that are here supporting you. So thank you for coming to the show and sharing your words and your wisdom and your love for Brian. And I want to thank Bridget, my right hand, my left hand. Thank you so much, my tech guru, and the calming down of me when I'm like under sleep duress, like I am today. So thank you so much, Bridget, for all you do. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time out of your day, out of your life, for being a part of this show, because this show wouldn't be around if it wasn't for you. And as I say, it was created with you in mind, because bringing amazing people like Brian Ridgway, today's guest, and the other metaphysicians, healers, spiritual thought leaders from across the globe, for bringing this on to bring you information, education, motivation, and some of their own special magic. So thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to the show. Next week, my guest is going to be Brandon Wainwright. And Brandon is known for writing his book, Tyson's Gifts. And so he's got a podcast and he's going to be on my show, and we're going to share about Tyson and the gifts and beliefs and more information. So please tune in next Thursday. Also, if you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, I'm going to be at Lara Day Spa teaching a class about raising vibrations and having fun manifesting. I know we can talk about that too, Brian. But it's a fun, interactive, experiential class for an hour and a half next Saturday on the 11th from 10 to 11:30 Eastern Time. Also, the following week on the 18th of March, I will be back at Alara for their Mind, Body, Spirit show. That's from 12 to noon, and it's at 155 Jovi Knox Avenue in Mooresville. So I hope to see you there. Thank you very much. As I leave you, as always, I send you love, blessings, and gratitude. So grateful that you're in my life in whatever capacity you're in it. For not only are you a student for me, you are my teacher. And not only am I a teacher, I am your student. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you haven't heard these words before, let me say them to you. I love you. You are loved, not just by me, not by just your family and friends, but you have a whole plethora of beings on the other side of the veil who are your biggest cheerleaders. And if you need something, ask. They will work on your behalf. But you need to ask for what you want because they don't have free will. Also, check out my website, Marla Goldberg. Goldberg has 2Rs.com, and you can see what I do, how I work with people, inspirations, my favorite things, my interviews that I've been on other people's shows, as well as my podcast. And you'll also learn more about who I am and all the credentials behind my name. All right. Well, I will see you next Thursday. And until then, stay safe, stay loving, stay amazing because you are amazing beings.